Hey, it's Laverian 29 here. Tonight I'll be talking about the World Baseball Classic Qualifier tournaments that is taking place this year. Tonight I'm going to be talking about Qualifier A, which will take place next week in Sydney, Australia at the Blacktown International Sports Park. This will be a 6-game double elimination tournament which will feature 4 teams: the host Australia, New Zealand, the Philippines, and South Africa. The winner of this tournament will go on to play in the World Baseball Classic tournament next year. The Sydney Qualifier will be a unique one in the sense that it is the only one to feature 2 of the original 16 countries to play in the inaugural tournament 10 years ago, Australia and South Africa. Australia is one of only 2 teams in the entire qualifiers to have played in all 3 main tournaments in 2006, 2009, and 2013. Another unique fact is that the stadium, currently the home of the Sydney Blue Sox of the Australian Baseball League, was originally built for the Sydney Olympics in 2000. And speaking of the Sydney Games, South Africa's manager Alan Phillips, father of South Africa infielders Anthony and Jonathan Phillips, played in the Olympics that year for South Africa. Now that that's put aside, let's meet the teams. First off, Australia. Despite being the only country in this bracket with a professional baseball league, the Aussies have had very little success with an all-time 1-8 record. And that one win they have isn't exactly a fluke. After losing all 3 games by a combined score of 18-4 in the inaugural tournament, they made not only noise in their first game in 2009, but they also made an embarrassment out of the host Mexico team with a 17-7 mercy rule victory with a record 22 hits, a record that still holds today in the World Baseball Classic. And a couple of those players from that game are returning to play in this tournament, starting with former Minnesota Twin Luke Hughes, who in that game hit a 2-run home run against Mexico. In the 3 years he's been with the Twins, he hit .218, 8 home runs, and 33 RBIs. Another key player from that upset game is outfielder Trent Olgen, a former LA Dodger and Diamondback, who actually had announced last year his retirement from professional baseball. However, he will not be the first retired player to play in the Classic, and he's not going to be the last. In his short time with the majors, Olgen had a .220 batting average. He hit 5 home runs and 11 RBIs. The last notable player from the 2009 squad returning is Mitch Denning, a former Red Sox prospect who previously played for the Yakult Swallows of Nippon Professional Baseball. That would be in Japan. Currently, he has a .222 batting average coming into this qualifier. There's actually another player on the roster who played in the 2009 Classic, but for another team. Pitcher Justin Erasmus played then for South Africa, who ironically was also in the same group as Australia in 2009, and are also in the same group now. Erasmus was actually born in Johannesburg, but is of Australian background, so for this year's qualifier, he pulled a Johnny Damon. If you don't know what I mean, Johnny Damon played in the inaugural tournament for the United States, being from Kansas. However, since his mother is actually from Thailand, he was eligible to play in the 2012 qualifier for the Thai squad. And if you're guessing he didn't get far, you're right. A number of these players actually play for both U.S. minor leagues and the Australian Baseball League. One of those guys is Justin Williams of the Tampa Bay Rays A Advanced affiliate Charlotte Stonecrabs and the Brisbane Bandits. In his 2-year career, he has had 22 home runs and has a .329 batting average. Also playing with experience from both leagues is Logan Wade, a former Twins prospect currently playing for the Blue Sox, who actually play at the same stadium where the tourney is going to be taking place. So with his 22 home runs and 158 RBIs, he's not going to have a problem stepping up to the plate for the team on familiar territory. Next on the list is New Zealand. The All Blacks have only participated in the 2012 qualifier, so their experience in international gameplay isn't much compared to other nations. Considering that they're actually more of a softball nation than baseball, the transition from softball to baseball is a work in progress, as there are more and more baseball players appearing in New Zealand. Right now, there's only one professional player with New Zealand heritage, and he made himself known in the previous qualifier. Pirates pitcher John Holtzcomb, who was 1-1 in the 2012 qualifier. He will not be participating this year. His brother Lincoln, who was also a pitcher in the 2012 tournament, was killed in a car accident this past fall, and the team is going to be dedicating their tournament gameplay to him this year. 4 notable Kiwis from the 2012 team are returning for Sydney. First is Boss Monaroa, formerly a prospect of the Red Sox. He hit the team's lone home run in the tournament against Thailand and bringing that score to what would become the Mercy Rule final of 12-2. Boss was 4 for 14 in the tournament with the aforementioned home run and 4 RBIs. At last check, he was playing in the ABL for the Canberra Cavalry. Next up is Scott Campbell, a retired Blue Jays prospect. In his 4-year career, he hit a .287 batting average with 400 hits. In 2012, he hit an impressive .583 batting average with 6 hits and 7 RBIs in the qualifier. Catching for New Zealand is Brewers prospect Bo Bishop. Bishop is one of a few players with Maori heritage to make it to the major league organizations. He was playing for the Gulf Coast Red Sox when he became injured and was eventually released by the Red Sox after missing a year of gameplay. In the times that he has played, he has only been able to record a .169 batting average. Last on the list is current Brisbane Bandit Alan Schoenberger, who scored 6 runs in the 2012 qualifier and batted .408 in their 4 games. While playing minors for the Phillies, he hit .217 and scored 125 runs. Looking to improve from their mistakes in 2012 are the Philippines. Despite being the top baseball club in Southeast Asia, the Philippines struggled to make an impact in the 2012 qualifier with a 1-2 record. In their 2 losses, they struggled big time with a destructive 16-0 loss to Chinese Taipei and an error-induced 10-6 loss to New Zealand. The roster is mainly the national team that plays in tournaments in the region, including the 2015 East Asia Cup in which they won. However, due to financial issues, they were not able to advance to the Asia Baseball Championship tournament. This team has only 2 minor leaguers. One is catcher Brad Heinal of the Marlins affiliate Batavia Muck Dogs. In the 2 years he's played minor league ball, he's hit a .267 batting average, 112 hits, and 61 RBIs. The other prospect is Angelo Sonko of the LA Dodgers. Currently playing for the St. Paul Saints, he has 17 home runs and a .339 batting average in his resume. In 2012, Clay Rapida was one of 2 professional pitchers invited to play for the Philippines. However, he had to decline due to his wedding taking place during the tournament. He has accepted the invitation this time and will be on the mound for the Pinoys next week. In the 7 years he's played professional ball, he's pitched a 3.10 ERA, recorded 670 strikeouts, and 60 saves. The other pro that was invited to play is Giants pitcher Tim Lincecum. However, he has no interest in ever playing in the Classics, so obviously he declined the invitation in 2012. And he also declined in 2009 when he was offered to play for the United States. Chris Aguila is a former Florida Marlin who has a .230 batting average. He too will be playing for the Philippines. He also has experience playing in Japan and Italy in their professional leagues. When the Philippines played in 2012, their main focus of talent were those playing in the United States in college or minor league teams. Devon Bryce Ramirez, formerly of California State Dominguez, is the only one in that group of players that is returning for Sydney. A converted outfielder, in the tournament he hit .230 and had 3 RBIs. Looking to return to the Classic after missing the previous is 1-7 South Africa. South Africa played in the first 2 tournaments and failed to secure a win, but did make a scare in their very first game, being an inning away from beating Canada. South Africa's lone win came in the 2012 qualifier against France, but the celebration was very short-lived as they were eliminated by Spain. There has never been a professional baseball player from South Africa. However, that is about to change with infielder Gift Ngopa of the Pirates organization. He was actually called up to spring training last year, but that was as far as he made it in the pros. He would spend the rest of the season playing AAA ball with the Indianapolis Indians. Right now, he has a .231 batting average with 29 home runs. Gift Ngopa was first heard of in 2009 when he became the first indigenous African to sign a major league contract. That year he also played for South Africa in the Classic, hitting 2 consecutive triples against Mexico. Another prospect playing this year is pitcher Dylan Unsworth of the Mariners' AA affiliate Jackson Generals. In 2014, he displayed his best talents with 119 strikeouts. In the 2013 qualifier, he pitched a 1.50 ERA against a powerful Israel team and struck out 6th. Anthony Phillips, formerly of the Mariners and Phillies organizations, he currently plays for the St. Paul Saints of the American Association. He'll be bringing his talents of a .232 batting average and 34 home runs to the Classic. Brett Willenberg, formerly of the Pirates and Royals organizations, is one of 5 players returning from the original 2006 team. In their surprise game against Canada back then, he tied the game when he hit a bases clearing 3 RBI double, which eventually helped bring the South Africans on the brink of an upset victory. However, that win was not meant to be. Willenberg was also 4 for 5 in batting against Mexico, and the performance in those 2 games helped place him the 3rd best batting average of that year, sitting only behind Ken Griffey Jr. and Adam Stern. One look at the bracket and people would say Australia will win in a clean sweep. However, as history has shown, a major upset is always possible no matter who is playing who. However, personally, I would actually like to see South Africa win it all. They'll have the hunger to make it big and return to the main tournament. But at the same time, you may want to keep New Zealand on the radar. New Zealand and South Africa will play in the first game next Thursday, and I say the winner of that game has the best chance of taking down the Aussies. And unfortunately, with all that said, that leaves the Philippines as being the first to be eliminated. But again, upsets are always possible, and hopefully the Pinoys will learn from their mistakes in 2012. Well, that's going to do it for the first qualifier of the World Baseball Classic. Hopefully we'll see some entertaining baseball, maybe an upset or 2. Best of luck to all teams. This is Isla3029, and I'm out of here. And now to finish, New Zealand will now perform the haka.